Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I want to do another video talking about The Walking Dead and why it's actually been, I don't want to say failure, but why there's a decline in views and why people have walked away from it. Uh, Now, you hear a lot of talks that, it's been a decline because the story's been failing or they haven't been able to reach expectations. Uh, you've probably heard them before. And now I'm going to tell you the actual truth from somebody who has watched every single episode a couple times. So I watch it with myself, done with my partner, and maybe with friends as well. And I want to tell you why it's actually failed to meet expectations. So, whenever there's a new season on TV of The Walking Dead, let's take for instance the most famous one when Glenn and Abraham met Lucille and Negan. Uh, that failed because America gets it before us, and I have nothing against Americans, I love Americans. But America gets it before us, so that it airs before us, and then it gets put all over Facebook of what's actually happened, and then it's not just Facebook because you can avoid Facebook, but news uh, news industries post it all over the place. So even if you just turn on your search engine, I'm not going to name any search engines because I'm fucking suing for saying, but whatever your search engine is, uh, you load it up and it comes up with loads of tabs of the news articles. It tells you what's happened in the recent episode. Glenn's fans react to Glenn's death, uh, and this and other. Now, I knew who was going to get killed off on The Walking Dead because you just put it down to a few things. First of all, I have extensive knowledge of movies. I've watched upon thousands of movies through my lifetime, so they kind of follow a certain pattern, and it's very rare that they can shock you. Um, um, so I were already expecting these characters to get killed off anyway, because before Abraham died, no offense to the character, but his usefulness ran out. Everybody had some sort of like military training, and that's where Abraham kind of fitted in to fill the gap. Before him, it was Merle and Shane before him. Uh, so once that gap was filled and everybody knew aspects of the military, like what to look for, signs of danger, and all that stuff, that character had fulfilled his usefulness and is just an extra. Because if you remember all the episodes from Alexandria onwards with Abraham, they were kind of boring. So it's like the character declined because his usefulness had run out. Where Eugene's character, so for instance, he's really useful at fixing things, and that could go on for forever. He could train people over and over again. And I actually believe this is why Noah got killed and that Reg guy because they had constructural knowledge. So they wanted to eliminate those guys to put viewers in a feeling like these survivors will never be safe because the people who can offer them the most structural like safeness would be took off. Yeah. So yeah. Glenn actually would have been a shocker because he's been on it from I believe the second episode or the end of the first episode. Now I liked Glenn, and the guy wanted to go out with, as the story was laid out. Yeah, he wanted to follow the comic books, and that's fine. Good for him. His dedication to the role, in my opinion. But the fact that Stephen Yeun's character Glenn, uh, his death was foreshadowed like several times before, kind of left us in a kind of disbelief of do we actually care? Because when Glenn got surrounded by zombies, and you kind of saw him get ripped to pieces, but it weren't actually him; it was Nicholas instead. People had the shock then. So when Glenn actually came to die, we were like, fair enough. So we didn't really, it weren't really a big thing then. Another huge thing would have been Carl's death by Chandler Riggs. Now, in the first couple of seasons, Carl was just really annoying. Then a couple of seasons after, he was really quiet. So from like season 1 to 3, he was the really annoying kid. Then season 3 to probably 6, he really didn't have anything at all. He kind of just looked after Judith. Once they found Judith, of course, after Terminus, and once they got to Alexandria, he kind of come into his own, and the character really developed then. But when he died, I knew about it beforehand because of fucking news articles, and like I said, America gets it before us, so all it takes is for one of these news conglomerates to stick it online, then it's everywhere, and we just see it beforehand. So most people don't even watch it once they've seen that because they're like, what's the point? We know what's going to happen. It was a actual shame to see him die as his character was developing so much. But it would have been much more of a shocker to have seen it on screen. So that was another disappointment. When Lauren Holden died, Andrea, that were a kind of a shocker because she was super fucking annoying at the start. She kind of always come across as like everybody should be listening to me kind of character, a really arrogant person, like she knows best. But at the end of season 3, like the last couple episodes, you could kind of sympathize with her because she was just trying to help. She didn't want any bloodshed, kind of just wanted to bring the communities together. But then she got bit, and then killed off. But in the comics, she's with Rick for however long. I haven't read the comics, by the way. I just know that due to other spoilers. So that were kind of a bummer. But this is why people are actually walking away from The Walking Dead, because of spoilers. What's the point of watching a show? Like, the show goes to great lengths to not give out too many spoilers. Like when Glenn and Abraham were supposed to die, they had a scene with every person on the crew, like Daryl, Carl, and all this, all getting their head caved in. You may remember it from the episode after Glenn and Abraham died. Or the episode where Glenn and Abraham died, sorry, where Negan and Rick are at the truck, RV, sorry. So the crew didn't even know. But the moment it happened and it was on American TV, it got broadcasted all over the world, what happened, and people just didn't watch it for that entire reason. We know who's died, why bother watching it? And they're already doing it again, so the last season is season 11, it's not even started yet, and I've already seen spoilers about what's his name? Gabriel's death. Who's going to be taking that? I'm not going to say who it is, because in the comics, Gabriel dies a certain way, but it said somebody else is going to take Gabriel's death. So that was kind of a bummer. Uh, and we've seen Ezekiel, of course, with the massive cancerous lump on his neck. So we know he's probably going to bite the bullet at one point, probably sacrificing himself to save somebody, probably Carol. That's just my own speculation. It's not based on anything. But it just seems like a thing he would do. And I like Ezekiel, but my god, he gives a lot of speeches. He's like Captain America of the apocalypse. Just not very good speeches. So yeah, that's just my opinion on why people have turned away from The Walking Dead and why it's ending, because severe decline in viewership, and I believe this to be the absolute case because when I've talked to people about The Walking Dead, that's what they've said. Peace out.